Hello and welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is February the 1st, 2024. And welcome to my channel. Today is the day that everybody is always looking forward to. It is the day of the slideshow. So we're going to get into that right away. But first, I'm just going to briefly mention what I am wearing because I'm going to do this video in two parts. So we're going to do the slideshow and then I will later do the other part. So it'll probably be tomorrow. I'll be wearing something different. So what I am wearing is basically a shawl, but I like, because it's so nice and lacy, I like to fold it up like a neck shawlette, but it is a nice full shawl. It is called Faded Blooms, and it has a fairly regular repeat. I don't know how many rows, maybe 4, and you can make it whatever size you want. Faded Blooms is by the designer Carmen Heffernan, and she has a blog called Annie Crochet Designs, or Annie Designs Crochet, one of those two. But she's on Ravelry and under Carmen Heffernan, and I will put a link to her below. And I did a focus on her maybe last fall. I like to do a focus on designers every so often, and I'm way past doing another one, but I haven't come up with who I'm going to do next. But anyway, as for the yarn, I had made another asymmetrical triangle scarf with 4 colors. I'm thinking it was Comian's triangle, but anyway, 2 of them near the end had a fair bit left, and I said, well, I'm going to stop here and leave enough, and I did. I left enough of these 2 colors to put together to make this shawlette. They're 2 random ones I just took off my shelf that I'd had quite a while, and I don't know what they are, but this one here, the very light teal one, has sparkle in it. It is really quite a pretty combination. But anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. You want to check out her pattern. She would have quite a number of single skein patterns. I really like single skein patterns, and Carmen Heffernan has quite a few, and CJ Brady, as you know, I really like her as well, because you know how often we go and we buy one skein because we really like it with no intention of any particular pattern, and then later we don't know what to do with. So those are great patterns. So we're going to get right to it. I'll flash a picture up here, first of all, of the bird of the month. And if I have room to put them both on here, I'll do it. Up in the other corner, I'll put a picture of the cowl that I made for the month called the New cowl. I may have to just put one up and then change it to the other, whatever. But that shows the item that I made for the month. And then we're going to get right into your items. I'm really excited about all of your entries for this month. So we're going to kick it off by our first entry comes from Rebecca, who is in Mississippi, and she did this scarf. It's called the Ocean Air Scarf, and it's by Fiber Flux, and with it she has a little shell headband that was designed by Selena Veronique. Next we have Lisa from Lisa Loves Crochet, and she did a neck warmer, and it is a tutorial, so I have to guess it's on YouTube, a tutorial by Heklana Rolka, R-O-L-K-A. Then from Josephine in North Carolina, and Josephine, I'm missing your squares this year, but that's all right. You need a break. And this is called, the first one I'm showing you is called the Naturalist Shawlette from CJ Brady, as you know, one of my favorite designers. And then she has a simple shawl that is from, excuse me, from Marley Bird. And then we have one more from her, and she said this was a UFO, and she decided it was a perfect time to complete it. It's called Birds of a Feather, and it's a kind of a snood cowl combination. And she finished that up with the colors from this month. If I recall correctly, she was using a long gradient, and she made one, and she still had more yarn, so then she made the second one in the next color of the gradient, and then finished it off in the third one. And then we have from Debbie P, who is in Arizona, we have another CJ Brady pattern, and this is called 1,000 Kisses. This is a pattern I've made a couple of times myself. Looks very different with this red heart. You're going to see red heart quite a bit because I know red heart has some great striping. I think they call it striping yarn with the very vibrant colors, so it comes up again. And then Tammy, who lives in Ontario, has decided that she's going to do a series of dishcloths for us this year. Didn't really tell me too much more other than that. And then here we see the colors again. Michelle, So Magical Michelle, I think is her channel name. She's from Utah, and she made this caterpillar. Really nice, bright rainbow caterpillar, and she said that it's a free pattern in Ravelry. Nice and bright. Then we have Linan, who is Nina's Knots Crochet, and she's from Florida. And she did the reading shawl. The reading shawl is really taken off. I'm glad you people really liked it, and intend to make several. And I know a reading shawl, it's Agatha's reading shawl, and it's from Ophelia Talks, and it is on YouTube. And I forget what her main yarn was, but she used the Picasso, the exact same Picasso that I used in my cowl. And then we have Barbara B. No, sorry, Barbara M. I don't want to get them confused. Barbara M., who lives in Alberta. And she has made this blanket. She said she went into her stash and pulled out a number of different gradient cakes that she had, and I guess this is the Greenway blanket, and the pattern is by Donna Yacino, Yacino, and she said it was using the Harlequin stitch, which is the first time she ever did it, and she enjoyed it. Then we have Wendy, who is in Ontario, and she knit a hat with no particular pattern, just her own thing. And then she has some fingerless gloves, and if I'm reading her notes correctly, it's called Point Edward Mitts. And again, there's the red heart stripes coming up again. A good choice for this month. Then we have Christine. Christine told me where she was once, and I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But she made this big flower granny square. And it's from Adore Creations Crochet. And I think she may also have told me she's going to do a series of them, but too many people said things that I don't completely remember. But that is a fairly large granny square, I believe. You can see it on my Ravelry page. Next, we have Bonnie, who is local to me. And Bonnie did first the reading shawl, again, the same shawl. Hers is in a solid color, though, from Ophelia Talks. And then she did an ear warmer, and this was in some yarn I think she said she got from me in a mystery box. It's already gone out in the donations. And then she did another shawl, and I didn't have a pattern name. I should have asked. This one is more colorful than the other one. And then we have Gina from Knitting Turnpike in Texas. And she has done an asymmetrical triangle shawl. Now hers, of course, is knitted. She knits. And she said this shawl is by Alice Dunn Smith. And it is called Windswept Boomerang. Then Rosanna, who again is in Ontario, she has made this wheelchair lapkin. She makes these regularly for donation to, I think, a senior's home. And she said she made this with the corner to corner stitch. And then we have Deb, who is also in Arizona. And she made this Afghan with mandala. And she said this pattern was by Blossom Crochet. Blossom Crochet is also on YouTube, so you'd be able to find the pattern there. Next we have Ellen, who is from Illinois, and she has made this hexie cardigan. We get lots of versions of hexie cardigans. Then Carmen, who is from California, has made this hat, and the hat is a bagaudet, a crystal pattern called Blurred Lines. And there again is our red heart. Very, very colorful. It was so perfect for this month's picture. And Hannah, who is from Australia, has knitted this hat, and this is a hat of her own. It's her own pattern. And and HD has crocheted this bag. It's the only bag we got this month. Bright green colors. And then Sherry from Alabama has done this granny square sweater, and the pattern, I think from what she said, is by Zines and Rogers. Then we have from Susan in New Jersey, we have this cowl, and she says the pattern was by Olga Poltava. Didn't tell me the name, but Olga is on YouTube for sure. And then she did this bright, colorful coaster. Moving on, Faith also made this hat. It's a little bit dark, hard to see, but the hat is by the Disley Sisters. The pattern is by the or maybe they call it the Disley Sisters, by Linda Simpson. Linda Simpson has changed her YouTube name to the Disley Sisters. And then Hillary crocheted this bolero, it is called, by Ophelia Talks, but she made some additions to it. It was kind of a vest, and she said she added sleeves and a collar to it. And Donna, who is in Ontario, she's made something different too. She made this cute little basket. You did much better. When I did a basket, it wouldn't stand up. And then we have another Judy T, who is also in Ontario. And she made this square. It's called the Splendid Serendipity Square by Loopy Stitch, who is on YouTube. And she said it was supposed to be 15, but it turned out to be a 17-inch square. And she has decided it requires 16 squares for this blanket, I guess she's going to make, or Afghan or throw, and she's going to make one every month, and some months she might even do two, so she can put them together at the end of the year into a blanket. And they are bigger squares than your normal. Most squares are around 5 or 6 inches, and like she said, hers are 17, so it'll be quite large. So we'll look forward to seeing the colors every month, depending on the inspiration picture and what she ends up with at the end of the year. And then next we have Susie, who's also, who is from Washington. She also has made a hat, and she mentioned that, again, this is a bag a day pattern. Didn't tell me which one it was. And then Adam, who is in the UK, has done this granny shawl, and he did it using a gradient cake. Adam, I think granny shawls are kind of a favorite of his. Next we have Lillian, and she knitted, my notes are messy here, she knitted a yarn cozy. Oh, I get it. And she said that when she'd finished the yarn cozy, she still hadn't got to the brightest of colors since it was short. So she went on to do, by the way, the yarn cozy, I think she went on to do the short scarf. The short scarf is called Spring Day. It's a free pattern, and it's by Sweet Bee Crochet. That's what my notes say. So that she could get into the bright part of her cake of yarn or whatever. Then we have Kathy, who is also in Ontario, and she did this shawl, and it looks to me like it's done with Lion Brand Landscape, which is bright and colorful. And then she went on to make this butterfly stitch prayer shawl, and the pattern is by N.J. Sharon and Debbie, I think it says Debbie Adams, but she modified it a bit to put a border on it. And then, if my notes are correct, we have a third one here. If not, we'll just have a blank. But I think she has a third, and it's called Cloud Wrap, and it's by Selena Baca. You know, I make all of these notes the night before. I did them last night. Then I sit down with my notes, but no pictures, and I hope that my notes make sense with what I'm planning to show you. Oh, wow. Next, we have Meredith, who is from Ontario. And she made this, it looks just like a square to you, but she showed me it folded up, but I wanted you to see the whole thing with all the bright color. It is the Lovey, that is Z or Zelda, ZNRJ, I think. It's her pattern on YouTube. I've mentioned it to you before. I've shown it to you before. I've made it before for some of my, she's not there right now, some of my skirts for the Loveys I have. And she said that she then put a border on Z's pattern, and the border was from Hooked by Robin. Nice and bright and colorful. And then we have a submission from Jax. And this is the first time Jax has joined us. And she, I think from what I recall hearing her say, that she's just over the border from British Columbia, which means she's in Washington State. But don't swear to it by me. I might be wrong. And what she's done is she's made 2 shawls, 2 of the Darjeeling tea shawls. And the pattern is by Red Teapot Atelier. And she has joined them together into what she is calling a sweater scarf. So she joined them along the side and made armholes. And She still had plans to try to put a pocket on it. She was trying to double dip with my cowl, and I think Wilma Westenberg had one. It's a beautiful shawl. Next we have Barbara B., who is from Missouri. And she has done this Quicksilver beanie, which is a pattern by Crystal at Bangladesh. So it could be found on YouTube. And then Pamela from North Carolina has submitted this next one. I'm going out on a limb here and thinking it is a pillow cover. It looks like it's on a pillow. And she said the designer is Polly Plum. And Raylene, who is from South Australia, has done this Boggy Creek blanket, which was designed by Jennifer of Cinnamon Stitches. And I'm sure that'll go to Boggy Creek very shortly, as they are getting ready to take all the blankets to the children at that camp. Next we have Renee, who is in Alabama, and she has made something called a hemp beanie. And these are by Elizabeth Smith Knits, so I have to gather that the beanie is knit. And moving on, we have Joan from Arizona, and she's submitted a few things together. She's made 2 shawlettes. The first shawlette, she said, was a corner to corner. Then she made a scarf, which was dragon unicorn, dragon unicorn pops, which is on Ravelry, and it's by Kaylin Creations. And then she has put the 2 of them together. I thought this was a very novel and unique way of using some of the things we make. They looked very nice together, so I thought I would show you that picture of the 2 of them together. Then we have another Bonnie, and she is from Pennsylvania. And she got kind of retro here. She showed me where she'd come across her father's old denim jacket. So she decided to make a granny square vest to match up with it in our bright colors, of course. Then we have Cheryl, who is from Oregon. And she has, I thought this was the cutest thing, her write-up. She said, this is an amigurumi. I think you can see it. She said, this is a distant cousin to our inspiration bird. I'd almost like to have it posted for the month. Of course, the month is over now. But she's right. It does resemble our inspiration bird, again with the red heart yarn. I should show you the birds ahead, Cheryl, and have you make me a bird every month. Next we have Denise, who again has, she submitted 3 things. The first one is a hat. I'm not told names of anything, so I can only just tell you what's here. I have a hat to start with. Then I have a picture of something that is hanging. I'm not sure what it's meant to be. I'm sorry. And then finally we have another hat. I've seen this style of hat before with the 2 points. Very different. And that was from Denise. And then we have Naomi, who is also in Washington. And she has made this llama. And it's called Llamas by Mala, M-A-L-A, Mala or Mala Designs. And we finish off with Cindy from Costa Rica. And she said she had a little difficulty coming up with something this month because she had in mind to make that nature's squares, you know, that Gary made, but her yarn did not work with it. And of course, being in Costa Rica, she is limited. She can only use the yarn that she bought in bulk before she went there. So she finally found a yarn that she hopes is going to work, and she did get one square finally made and hopes to make more squares again to make a blanket by the end of the year. So we have a few people that are going to be working on squares for blankets, and each month we'll get probably a different pattern and of course a different color depending on our inspiration. So that brings us to the end. Now, were you counting? Because surprise, surprise to me, normally most months, in the last little while, at the beginning it started slow, but at least for the last 6 or 7 months of last year, I would regularly have 30 people submit. One month I did have 31. But 30 seemed to be what I had. And I didn't get something from all the people that generally submit things to me. But I had quite a number of new people submit things to this month. And I don't know if it's because I just happen to have new subscribers and this is the first time they saw it, or whether it's because people just loved the inspiration and decided they were going to participate this time. I did get a lot of comments from people that I didn't know how much they would love that bird. I thought he was pretty far out, but people seem to really take to the colors and the bird and like that idea. So I had, get this, 40 people submit. Yep. 40 submissions. I was blown away by it, people, and I hope you keep up. Who knows, maybe by partway through the year or the end of the year, we will get to 50, which would be so exciting. I don't know what to say. I'm just so happy that you are enjoying this, and of course, you're all looking forward to what comes next. But before we look at what comes next, we have to get out our wheel. You know, the wheel is next. And what did that just do? Oh, you know what? They want to pop ads in front of everything. I just want to make, okay, I do have different initials on them. So here is the wheel. You'll notice that the little section for each of your names is getting smaller and smaller. We get 50 on there. It'll be really small. So if I can hold it without that light getting in the middle of things, and I'll tap it and we'll wait for it to stop. Don't get excited till it's stopped and given me a message. So the winner is Susan. And if I recall, Susan is in New Jersey. So Susan, I need you to email me. The email is in the description box below. And it's judyscreations21@gmail.com. And Susan, you will get a gradient cake of yarn. So please send me your mailing address. So congratulations, Susan. All right, the next thing we, of course, all want to see is what is the bird for next month. And as you know, I don't know names of the birds this time. I do think I have put the month name, we'll just call it the February bird. So I'm going to fill the screen for a couple of seconds and you can look at it. Here is the February bird inspiration. Be sure to get a screenshot. Okay, that's a pretty bird. And when I looked at it, I failed to notice there was a strip, there was a feather there by his tail feather that's orange as well. So I'm going to pop a picture in the corner so you can see the bird. And I was excited to go through my stash and find this skein of yarn, which to me was absolutely no orange in it, but an absolute perfect match. It's a nice bright pink, and it has that teal, aqua, whatever you would call it. I really, really like this skein of yarn, and it is from the dyer Plain with String. And this dyer is Canadian dyer in Wasaga Beach, Ontario. That's, cottage country in northern part of Ontario. So I'm really excited. I found this skein of yarn. I think it's perfect. It's one skein. So my thinking is that I will likely check out CJ Brady or Carmen Heffernan, one of the two, and get a one skein. It'll probably be something like this, a shawl, a scarf, or an asymmetrical triangle, and make something with this. I am actually going to cake it up probably later today and put it in my little project bag, big enough for this one skein. So that's February. And I hope you find that fun to work with. Not as many colors this month, but that last one was like way over the top with colors. So we'll have a little less choice. Now, I want to take a couple of minutes. I know this has been longer, but you know what? I'm quite happy to have had a longer portion to show these, because that means lots of people are getting on board with this monthly cow. But because I probably picked up 35 new subscribers even over the last couple of weeks, not even the whole month, the numbers just jumped up. I thought I would take a couple of minutes here. I mean, I can refer you back to the proper video, but I want to take a couple of minutes to go over what's involved, because I am getting questions because people are new. So for all of you that are new, I'm going to go through some of the rules of this MAL. For those of you that have been here all along, you can fast forward to the next part when I come back with the regular business. It's a monthly, I didn't give a date for those of you. Before you disappear, you need to know the end of February, so March the 1st will be a Friday. I'm going to think about whether I'll do a Thursday and a Friday or put it all together in Thursday. So just in case I do it on Thursday. Once again, I would like all your submissions into me by Friday. Remember, February, although leap year, is still a shorter month and only has 29 days. So by Sunday, February the 25th, I want your submissions, your pictures sent to me. Now, rules for those that are new. You may make anything you wish. You may knit, crochet, or any other fiber, if you weave or if you spin or even if you dye yarn, you could do that using the inspiration colors from the picture I just showed you. You do not have to use all the colors. You can use one. You saw items that had just one color in them this month. Any medium, anything inspiration from that picture. Has to be done by the 25th, I believe I said. And the pictures, now, this is the part some of you were not sure of and I answered questions on. The pictures, although I'd love for you to show them on Instagram using my hashtag Judy's Mal 2024, please feel free to post there. Feel free to put them in the Ravelry thread that I started up that has general chatter. But in order to be in this slideshow and therefore in the running for the free yarn, you must email the picture to me. And my email, once again, is judyscreations21@gmail.com. It's in the description box below. It always is. When you email me, I ask for this information. It makes it a lot easier for me to say something rather than just say, this is a hat, there's a scarf, there's a shawl, there's a blanket. I would really like to know the pattern name unless you made it up yourself. A pattern name and designer. People often listen and see something they like and want to make that item. So pattern name and designer, please. What yarn you used really doesn't matter. You know, everybody has whatever yarn they have. I mean, people tell me, and sometimes I mention it, but it's the pattern name and the designer that people really want to know and make it again. The other thing is, I need to have your name. Sometimes, it comes through with a name that I don't recognize because you have one name in Instagram, you have a different name on your email, and you have another one when you talk to me in YouTube. All these different names, and they aren't your real name. I'd really like to have your first name and possibly last name or initials, since I have 5 Lisas and 4 Judys and 2 Barbaras and all of that. So helps to have more than just your first name. And I really like to know where you are. The state or province, or if you're overseas country, is enough. I don't need to pinpoint Detroit, Michigan, or whatever, Birmingham, Alabama. But it is interesting to me, and I think to others, where you are. And when I get 2 Barbaras, hopefully they have initials, but if they tell me, Barbara in Alberta and Barbara in Missouri, I have a way to distinguish between them. And you are perfectly welcome to send me more than one item. Of course, it should be an item made that month. Some people have some UFOs that they finish up and send, and that's perfectly acceptable. But I don't want you going through your stash of things you made 5 years ago, something you're making this month for this mal. We're calling it a mal now. So I hope I've covered all of the information you need in order to join us in the mal. And I appreciate so many of you joining in, 40 people. That just blows my mind, and I'm really excited about that. So thank you very much. I'm going to cut it now, and I'll be back in a flash. It's magic, with the regular business for the week. So I'm back again today. Wasn't that just a great slideshow? And imagine that, 40 people participating. I hope that continues. So once again, I want to welcome you to February. Today is February 1st. And of course, that means that Kiki has to make an appearance. Can you guess what Kiki might be wearing today? I think you probably can, especially those that have been here before. So Kiki is all ready for Valentine's Day. And this skirt is made with, these are hand-dyed little minis that are held double. There are 2 different colors there. And the white, the rest of it is made with my favorite latte cake. You know how I love that latte cake, and I have plenty, so I'll be using it a lot. So we'll just put Kiki up here to keep an eye on what's going on for the month. And before we get started, I have an announcement. I am now a great aunt, and this is special in our family because it's a very small family. I am one of 3, and only my one sister had 3 girls, and now her oldest girl has had a baby, and that makes me a great aunt. And she had a boy. His name is Miles John, and he is 7 pounds 11 ounces. So that's the first one on the next generation. So we're all very excited about this news. Next, nothing to do really with yarn, but I also wanted to point this out to you because today when I was in the drugstore, In Canada, that's usually Shoppers Drug Mart, is one of two big chains, and had to go to the post office. And while I was there, I saw on the sale counter something that I thought you should know about. If you can see, I'll talk about this in just a second. I have a clip here on my shawl, and it's one of two. It came in a package, and it's simply a hair clip, right? A barrette, but perfect to make a shawl pin out of. And it's not overly heavy, and it will hold the shawl together easily while I, move around. I don't have to worry about it falling off or always pulling on it because it's sliding back on my shoulders. And I mean, I got them on sale. They were selling them out to get clearing things out. So, I mean, got the two of them for super cheap. So I just thought I would point that out as an alternative to a shawl pin, because shawl pins can get a little bit expensive. And this is going to work just wonderful. If I wanted to put one side up, sometimes I do, and it hangs down, I could do that, and maybe I will do that while we're here. So I just wanted to show you, this is a shawl I made quite a while ago, and it is the ever popular Granny Merge fiber spider, and it's made with a very dark sparkle blue. Now, what if I wanted to pin it up here? Turn it a little bit and pin it up, and you can see that it would work. This luckily has holes in it. You wouldn't want to use this in something that didn't already have holes in it because it's too big for that. Did I get through both layers? Yeah, I think I did. So there it is. Great. I'll just leave it like that. All right. Now I have another announcement for you. I don't know where to start. First of all, I showed you some of the gifts I had been receiving over the last few weeks, and was so, I don't know, overwhelmed is the best word I can come up with your display of gratitude or whatever for the channel. And I was feeling very, very special, and I'm very happy. And I noticed when I went to tape last week, I was getting very, very close to 1,200 subscribers. But I know that I didn't make 1,200 until maybe the day that the video came out. But I know that earlier in that week, I was down around 1,190. And now this week, as I go to tape already, I'm at 1,225. So in about a week, I gained 30 subscribers. And I don't get 30 subscribers every week, and I'm really very excited about it. Now, I know part of it is because of the video I did with Gina, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. But, I don't do giveaways every 100. I think that isn't necessary. I told you the next giveaway would be when I make 1,500, which to me is a milestone. But I think because I was feeling so thankful and so grateful for your support and for all the new people coming to join me, that I decided I am going to do a giveaway a little bit different than usual. I know I usually give away yarn, and I already would have given away a cake of yarn in the first part from the slideshow. So I thought I'm going to do something a little different and a little unique, and this is a little more, excuse me, I should have had a drink. Do something that is a little more personal to show you how much I care that you follow my channel. So I hope you consider this a little more special. So what I'm going to give away is this mohair shawl that I have made. it is big enough to be a little shawlette, or to wear it as, you know, like a neck bandana. It is mohair, one single strand of mohair, and maybe you can see the color is sort of brown, a brown mix with other colors. So I'm going to give this away, and you need to comment on my video by next Monday, because I will pick on Tuesday. I will pick a winner so I can announce it next Thursday. Please do not use the word giveaway anywhere in the comments. Any comment will do, as long as it is a respectful comment, which all of my viewers are. I'm very lucky to have such good viewers. And I know to some people 1,200 doesn't seem like a lot, because I mean, there are channels out there with 10,000 and 30,000 and 100,000. You know, to me, it's all about quality, not quantity. And I seem to have some real quality subscribers, which pleases me very much. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. So this will be going home to some lucky person. So please comment below, and I'll just put that off to the side. Okay, I don't want to make this very long, so I have only really one more thing to talk about, and that is the mal that Gina and I are doing. And I saw that quite a few of my subscribers were there on the live last Saturday. And if you didn't get to the live, the replay is there. By the time you're seeing this video, of course, Gina has already picked some winners for a free pattern. But I am actually, like I showed the yarn I'm going to use to make that, I call it a wrap, and I will use it and talk about it next week, more about that in a minute. But right now I'm working on a second version. I decided to make it a little narrower, and I'm using my minis from last July when we did Christmas in July. I finally am putting those minis to use because they are smaller. Most minis in my advent calendars have been 20 grams, and these were 10 grams, so they don't go quite as far. I'll talk more about it next week as well. But I just wanted to make sure for anybody that didn't get in on the live or find the replay to please check out the replay. I'm pretty sure I will have a link to the replay in the description box below, where it just shows you the pictures of both items we're making. There's a wrap in both crochet and knit, and they look identical, different colors. They look identical otherwise. They're both by the same designer. And I am going to be talking about the pattern specifically and showing you the beginnings, I guess, next week. The next 3 weeks, that's February the 8th, 15th, and 22nd, I will be talking a certain amount about the mal and showing you how it's progressing and answering any questions you might have. So if you have a simple question, it can be answered in one of the social medias. Talk about that in a minute. But if you have something you really need me to kind of show you, or explain in more depth, illustrate on a video, then please put the question in the comment section below this video. Now, there are 3 places that you can join in on the fun. Now, mostly in Instagram, people are just posting a picture. That's pretty much what Instagram is about. And the hashtag is hashtag Turnpike Creations Mal 24. That's Gina's and my channel put together for a Mal in 24. So if you go there, you will see some pictures already posted. Mostly, there's one of mine where I showed the original yarn that I chose for the item I'm going to make. Some one or two others have shown their yarn choices, and I've also posted a picture of my progress in the first day and a half on the smaller version. They're there. Another place where you can go if you want to chat with people is to my Ravelry thread. You remember I said in January I posted a Ravelry thread for just general talk. And we're using that thread to talk about this as well. So some people have shown their yarn there as well. I believe I showed my original yarn. I might have showed a picture of the box with all my minis as well. And I'm under Judy's Creations 21 on Ravelry. You can find my group, you can join my group, and then you can go in there and chatter, ask questions, talk about what's happening and so on. You can talk about anything, but they're also talking about this particular mal. And finally, and this I think is probably the most exciting to me, is Gina has set up a Facebook page for us. Both she and I are the administrators to the Facebook page. And it again is called Turnpike Creations Mal 24. Again, I will put that in the description box below. So if you go on Facebook, and I think more people prefer Facebook than the other two. So if you go on Facebook and look for that page and ask to join, there will be two very straightforward questions you have to answer for either Gina or I to approve you being into that page, because we want to keep that page private to just the people participating in the mal. Now, if you're a follower of mine or Gina's, say, and you're not sure if you're going to do one, or you don't think you're going to have time, and you want to join the Facebook group to maybe comment and see what's going on, I guess that would be okay. I don't know that it would be as fun for you if you're not participating. Some people, by the way, are making two. They're making one of each, or two of the craft they prefer. I'm doing two crochet. Gina thinks she's doing knit right now, but she thinks she might do a crochet. There are lots of people saying they're going to do both. And there's a poll on the page to find out what it is you're going to do. So you might want to participate in that. So the Facebook page is there, and they have been very active since it opened on the weekend. Lots of people joining, lots of people putting up pictures. And by the way, those of you that think you're going to crochet it and have bought a pattern or plan to buy the pattern, if you haven't bought it yet, you'll be fine. But those that have already bought it, the designer put out a correction. The number of stitches in the first row is off by one, and there was some discussion about that on the page. So I really encourage you to think about doing one of the patterns. I know from having already worked with the crochet one, it is very, very straightforward. It's an easy pattern. If you're learning to crochet, it's a great one to learn on. If you've never done a bias, it's easy to follow her instructions and learn bias, because I think scarves and wraps on the bias are a little more interesting than straight. So it's a good way to try it out. And if you crochet but always use tutorials and never used a pattern, this might be a good place to learn how to read a pattern, because again, it is very straightforward. I think the instructions are very clear, and there's only a solid row you need to go forward and back, so that you just need to know how to do the ends, because it's all double crochets. And then there's an open row with what we call windows or lace work, and that's double crochet, chain one, double skip one, and then keep on going the same way. And again, it's just knowing how to do the two ends, which isn't much different than the previous two. So there is very, very little to learn. How to do a double crochet two together. I mean, there are probably tons of videos out there on how to do that particular stitch. So I'd really encourage you to use this mal as a way to learn to read patterns, because if you don't read patterns and only use tutorials, you're at a disadvantage, because there are so many beautiful patterns out there and they don't all have tutorials. A person only does a tutorial if they don't mind giving you the pattern free, because that's basically what they're doing, giving you the pattern free with a tutorial. And a lot of them, that's how they earn a living, is selling their patterns and so on. So learning to read a pattern is really a good tool. And why don't you make this your year to learn how to do that? And this would be the ideal pattern to do that with. And if you run into a problem or have a question, I'm perfectly happy to answer it. So that's all I have to say about that, because this video is now long enough. So I just wanted to talk to you about the mal if you missed out on it, and encourage you to participate, because I think it will be fun. Now, next week I will talk about yarn subscriptions. I did receive 2 of them in the mail this week. I've already received one you've seen a few times, and I will be getting the next month very soon. I have a 4th one that's coming, but it's coming from, I think, Ireland, somewhere in the, over there in the UK. I think it's Ireland, and I haven't heard about it yet, so I don't know what's happening. I'll have to contact her and find out what's happening there. But I do want to talk about them all, and I will only be keeping 3 of the 4. So we'll look at the differences in the yarn subscriptions next week. That's the major plan for next week. So I hope you'll be here. Of course, to talk about the mal and show, that's also important next week, is to show you the first steps of the mal and then talk about yarn subscription. So I hope you'll be here again next week. And until then, happy hooking.